Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Welcome, everyone, to Referrals Podcast. If this is your first time, welcome to the family. If you are a repeat listener, thank you so much for what you have done for this podcast. It's Referrals Podcast. Everybody wants to know how to develop a referrals-based business and how to build businesses on love, generosity, and appreciation that are strategic, tactical, and practical. Well, I have a true treat for you today. We are going to get a sneak peek behind the scenes look at a coaching session with myself and one of my great coaching clients, Kevin Hudoba from Indianapolis, Indiana. And you are the lucky one, right? I'm telling you, this is an awesome snapshot into how a coaching session would go. And you may want to play along and answer the questions I ask and think about the questions that Kevin is asking as we go through this. And I want you to note that the best coaching clients have one thing in common. They're coachable. They're coachable. Are you coachable? Are you willing to do whatever it takes? Are you willing to do what your coach says, to try it, to see if it works, to bring feedback? The only good feedback is feedback from something you've done. There are two types of questions, and Kevin has a lot of questions. I've already seen the list. There are two types of questions. There are questions of avoidance, and there are questions of mastery. The questions of avoidance are you're asking these questions and you keep asking questions to avoid actually doing what you need to be doing or to avoid doing the thing that you know you should be doing, right? I don't know what workout to do, so I'm not going to go work out. You know, what should I do chest day today? Well, I don't know, so I'm not going to go work out. So, and then, the questions of avoidance, I see them all the time. I see them. And then there are the questions of mastery. How do you know if you're asking a question of avoidance or a question of mastery? Have you done it? Questions of mastery are, I've done it, but I want to do it better. So how do I do it better? What do I need to do? How do I tweak it? How do I make it 1 ounce better, 1 degree better, 1 degree tweak better? And it's one of those where, listen, the questions of mastery are going to take you a lot further than the questions of avoidance. And I've said many, many times, the quality of your life is determined not by the quality of the answers, not by the quality of anything except one thing. It's the quality of your questions. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions. So guess what? Questions of mastery are always better than questions of avoidance. So just recognize that in yourself when you're doing it. And today is just an awesome sneak peek into a coaching session. I can't wait to deliver it to you. One real quick thing, if you have not joined the Generosity Generation, join gengen.com today. Just make it happen. And then as you may or may not know with Referrals Podcast, we drop a download, one of our episodes. Sometimes it's an outline of the call. Sometimes it's a system. Sometimes it's a strategy. Sometimes it's the invitations. Sometimes it's the, whatever it may be from the events. But check out referralspodcast.com. So without further ado, I want to introduce one of the top agents in the country. I will tell you, this guy is on the rise. I've talked about him before, way back when I first started speaking around 7L. He met with a property manager, ended up working out a great referral partnership from that one meeting. Right after right after I spoke in his area, he went out and got this one-to-one and ended up building a great relationship by implementation. And he is an implementer. And how do you want to get on Referrals Podcast? Do you want to be interviewed someday? I'd love to interview you. How do you get on? Not by talking a great game, not by hyping, not by cold emailing me, by the way. You get on to Referrals Podcast by implementing. And that's what Kevin is. Kevin is an implementer. So without further ado, let's welcome Kevin Hudoba from Indianapolis, Indiana. He is a realtor at hudobarealestate.com. Check him out. And Kevin, welcome to Referrals Podcast.
I'm glad to be here. And I'm excited, Michael, because I actually prepared for our coaching call today.
Dude,
I
you're the
I
most
have
prepared guy I know. This is not unusual. I love the
I
outline form, though. I mean, that's like,
yeah,
you're sure you don't have a little bit of a C component in you from the DISC?
zero, but I'm married to one. So I have 5 level 10 wins. I have my health, wealth, and happiness, and then 4 questions for Michael.
All right. So let's start with that. Like we start with all of our coaching calls is tens and wins, right? Too often in entrepreneurial world and also CEOs that I coach is, they start with the problem. They start with the chat or they just, oh, I had a miserable whatever. And it's like, all right, let's start with celebrations, right? So tens and wins. So share with me your tens and wins.
So last week we had our first ever giveaway contest event. And, our last call, we talked about the communication strategy. So get this, Michael, we had 40, I personally had 40 clients and friends call in and generated 13 referrals that one day. So right away, last
So
week
hold on, hold on. All right. So here we are blurring over somebody. I mean, so how many days in your life have you gotten 13 referrals?
Probably just a few.
Yeah, one or
Yeah.
two, right? So,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's so funny is that the entire world is fighting and trying to figure out how to get referrals. And here we are. Every time we have somebody on the show, they say, and I got 7 referrals, and they keep going. And it's like we need to. I mean, like we cannot desensitize ourselves to the fact that people have raised their hand and put their reputation at risk to refer us. And it's such a big deal. And yet sometimes we just Scott Edwards got 333 referral. It's like we have to realize that every one of those is a really big deal, right? So congratulations on 13, 40 great conversations. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. And I can't tell you the last time I had as much fun as doing the giveaway, because we were giving away a $5,000 vacation package. Then I did a second and third place prize like you recommended. We gave away a 50-inch TV and $100 gift card to the restaurant of the client's choice. So from those 13 referrals last week, I went on 2 listing appointments and signed a listing that already went live, and 1 new construction buyer appointment.
All right. So hold a second. So what's the sales price of the listing?
It's a small one. It's $59,900.
Okay, so that's fine, right? So you get paid on that someday, right? So if you sold it, that's $1,800, right? Maybe, right? But then you have a buyer.
Yeah.
So what's the buyer buying at?
300.
Okay, so that's pretty solid, right? So basically, you're coaching with me for the rest of your life based on just that return on income. But here's the thing, right? Is the the thing that we gloss over once again is we're bringing fun back to prospecting. You said that
it was so fun. It was so fun.
What was fun about it? Let's identify what was fun about it.
People calling into me was just a different energy, and also the giveaway was combined with our entire office. So there was at least 50 agents in our office participating, and right at 4:30 we cut off, and 5 o'clock we were doing the drawing for the vacation. So it was just a whole office energy that was just electric. It was so fun.
So I think there's a couple of lessons to unpack there. Number one is that this is a great idea for an office, is to do the grand giveaway, right? There's really 4 kinds of events. There's the event where everybody comes to you and that kind of thing. And then we have the drive-through events, which is they come and they can get the ice cream or the donut or the coffee, like an I love you latte, thanks a latte. And then there's, a virtual event. And then there's the grand giveaway, which is what we're showing here. This is truly a great example of the grand giveaway. Well, the grand giveaway works really well at a brokerage level if you get enough agents to participate and get involved with it. So that's the first thing. Is this is not necessarily an agent level only idea. This could be broker, it could be company, it could be whatever it may be. The other thing I want everybody to notice here that is very, very important is that Kevin added his own second and third place awards and rewards for calling in, which is going to generate even more calls from his people. And he piggybacked off the broker grand giveaway to have his own real grand giveaway. And I think one of the biggest things is he may have heard some comments in the office about how Kevin did it. I mean, I'm sure if he didn't hear them, they were saying them. But the thing that Kevin didn't do is apologize for being freaking awesome, right? He took full advantage of the grand giveaway and took it all the way. Some of you are going to have trunk or treats in the office at an office level, something that we teach and train. And I want you to know that if you're an agent in a trunk or treat office, get 200 of the people who know you to come through the trunk or treat. Like, other agents are going to have 3 or 0 or 5 or 9. And then they're going to complain that you took advantage of the opportunity. Isn't that really what life is all about? So don't freaking apologize for being awesome. And I love that you took it and then you took it to the next level. And if you do that with this, you know what your friends and family think? You're going to do that with your service to them. I love that.
Yeah. So I'll be totally honest with you, Michael.
I want you to lie for the rest of this podcast and the rest of the time that we know each other. I don't think you've ever lied to me, so I'm not worried about you being really honest.
Last time we talked, we went through the communication plan leading up to the event.
That's right.
And it was more communication than honestly I was comfortable with because I'd never done it before.
Yeah.
And I almost stopped. And the reason is because I had a few people respond back to my text messages saying, stop messaging me. I had a few people respond back to my emails saying, take me off your list. And I'm like, come on, these are people I sold houses to. Like, you know who I am. I'm not just some rando.
Yeah.
And you don't get as many responses with this sort of thing prior to the day. They're just like, okay, something's happening.
Yeah.
And then they all responded on the day. So I wasn't sure what kind of result to expect, but I almost stopped because of the negative feedback, but I kept going anyway.
So how do we respond to that?
I actually did take them off my list because I knew the people that said, take me off your list are also the people that weren't going to refer me.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And also, I gave them a pleasant response. I was like, hey, Michael, I hope you and the family are doing well. Not a problem. I look forward to talking to you soon.
Yeah. I think one of the things that you could follow, how many of them were there? Like 15 at the most?
It's just a handful.
Okay. So
maybe
if there's 10.
3 to 5.
Yeah. So make your first and 10 tomorrow, right? First thing in the morning, 10 calls. I would pick up the phone and call them and just say, hey, listen, I was really excited about the grand giveaway. A lot of people were really excited about the grand giveaway. This isn't something that we do, every month or every whatever. The amount of emails and the amount of communication is greater than normal, and I understand that. I just want to apologize, and I just want to let you know that I still want to stay in contact if it's okay with you. I understand. I don't like spam. I don't like too many text messages, but we've had a relationship in the past, and I'd like to build off that relationship if you're open to it.
Cool.
And here's the thing.
I can do that.
If you can't get them back in, then you keep moving. And if you can, then honestly, that conversation may make you more referable to them than you ever were before. I have to tell you, I had a client who had a not great experience with one of my buyer's agents. And it just didn't go well. And sometimes that happens. It wasn't the buyer's agent's fault necessarily. But what was interesting is I actually invited her to a board of advisors. So you got to realize, she's like, take us off. We don't want to be involved. We're ashamed to even be, clients of the Maher team, right? Which, ow. And so I invited her to be on our board of advisors. She came in, she heard stories from other people about how well it went, and she thought it was so like badass, for a lack of a better word, to invite somebody who had a bad experience to that she became a raving fan ambassador from that point on. And it was a big deal because she was an influencer. So, sometimes it's the bad moments and the troubles that truly turn what might be strangers or past clients or forever clients into literally raving fan ambassadors. That's awesome. That's awesome that you shared that. And then you had, thousands of other touches that turned into, good responses. So,
Absolutely.
All right. So what other wins and tens do you have?
So the next day after our giveaway, I had a client of mine doing a networking event. He's a multifamily investor, and I've been going to this event, and surprisingly, a lot of the visitors are single family residential investors as well.
Interesting.
So one of my ambassadors was speaking at the event. He was in town from California. And so I had my client that was running the event, my ambassador that was at the event, my best investor client is partnered with the speaker at the event, and a few other clients that were there. So I was like, this is my event. All my people are there. So I actually, at the event, set 4 new investor seller appointments from the networking event, same week as the giveaway. Wow. So that was huge. Pretty exciting.
So do you think that those 4 raised their hands in timeliness because of the grand giveaway, or because of the ambassadors championing you or ambassadoring you, right, at that event? Or
this
both?
This was separate from the giveaway. This is a real estate investing event.
Yeah.
So, with all my people in the room, when other people were having conversations with new people in the room, they're like, you should talk to Kevin. He can help you with selling your house. They're finishing a flip property. You should talk to Kevin.
Talk about an environment, though. You are in a multifamily investment class with a bunch of people who are invested in residential. And so what do they want to do? They want to sell and 1031 into a multifamily. And the multifamily speaker is loving you because you're going to help sell that single family. And then if he's smart, he's taking all these people who have single families, pooling them together and buying multifamily investment properties. So there's like a win-win-win-win there.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the meetings that I got was with the speaker. It was actually, even though he's been an ambassador and sent me several of his coaching students to help, this is my first time meeting him in person, surprisingly. Wow. So one of my meetings was with him. So we sat down, and one of the bombs I dropped with him was some value that I could add in the multifamily space. So I shared with him in 2010, I actually started a Facebook group around multifamily real estate investing. And as of today, it's the #1 multifamily real estate investing group on Facebook. 50,000 members.
Yeah, wow.
More than the guru Rod Khleif, if you know Rod Khleif.
Yeah.
He has a huge name in coaching. Yeah. I don't do anything in multifamily yet. I aspire
but you have a really fertile ground.
But my community is the largest on Facebook. And also we've been collecting email addresses for 3 years from that group. So I have an email list from that group of 9,600. So that's awesome. His specialty is raising capital. And so he was literally reeling with how we could do a joint venture with my community and email lists to position me as the multifamily guy for real estate syndications.
I love it. That's awesome. I mean, we haven't even got to your questions yet, and I'm thrilled with this call. So Other tens and wins, right? So we talk about health, wealth, and
Yeah.
happiness, right? So give me an update on health, wealth, and happiness.
Saturday was my 35th birthday, and also Saturdays are my longest runs of the week. I'm preparing for a marathon November 6th, and I ran 18 miles Saturday morning. It's my longest run of my life, and I finished it. And the
Uh,
the funny thing about that was the previous two Saturdays I was supposed to run 17. I didn't quite make it.
hmm.
I think one week I did 16, the other week I did 13, and I just couldn't finish. And it was like 11-minute pace between running and walking. And this 18 miles was like 9.5-minute pace because I ran the whole
Woo!
time.
You were
Woo!
smoking.
You
But
know
but
what? My
go ahead.
energy was so good. It was the morning of my birthday. I was literally just telling everybody on the trail, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and listening to Referrals podcast on the trail.
Nice, nice plug right there. I'll give you an hour
Yeah,
to quit talking like that.
yeah,
So
and
here's
it was
the cool
awesome.
thing, right? Isn't that just a great example of like everything in the world? Is that you're doing 3 miles on Monday, or Tuesday, 3 miles on Wednesday or Thursday, and then you're doing your long run on the weekend, which is great training for a marathon. And but some of the long runs, and I've been there, is it just doesn't go well. The energy's low, you get a blister, something hurts,
Yeah,
right? Or whatever. There's a million different reasons that that it happens, and then you have days like this weekend where it goes so swimmingly. And
yeah,
that's the beauty. It's just like this referral stuff, right? It's like you're going to have days you don't get a referral. You're going to have events that maybe go flat, maybe don't go as well as you thought. But keep doing the activities that lead to the results, and you will get the results. And in some of those cases, the results will be far beyond anything you ever expected. And I love that as an analogy for for what we're doing here as well. And kudos to getting back to running. Um, I'm glad we talked about that in the beginning, and more importantly, I'm glad you're implementing at such a strong level. That's awesome. You're going to be more ready for this marathon than ever before. You know,
yeah. And I have 7 weeks left, so I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good. I'm excited about it.
great.
Um, so my homework last week, you told me to put together the binder.
Yep,
Um, so I got little tabs A through Z, so I could alphabetize it and print it off the VIP form.
you're ready to go.
Um, so I don't have all 40 in here yet. I honestly I started it this morning. I'm at like 14 of them filled out,
That's
but
awesome.
I'm on my way with it.
Let me
One of
ask
my
you this:
questions.
how many of your pluses and multipliers called in during the grand giveaway? Like, what percentage would
Um,
you guess?
I I'm not sure honestly, but this actually goes with my first question, Michael.
Yeah.
So, what is the criteria for either adding or removing somebody from my binder and the call rotation?
I never, almost never remove an ambassador, and you graded your database like we teach the grading the database quite a bit is on energy,
Yeah,
right? Pluses plus you, multipliers multiply you, and then you've got the zeros which you can't remember very well. You don't know them. They're in your phone, but you don't know them. And then you've got the negatives, which are just like they're just we don't have a chemistry. And then you have the divisive, which is the division sign, a minus with dots above and below it, which are the divisive, and we delete them, right? We avoid them. So you have your multipliers and your pluses, and if they're high energy people, the only way that they come off is if you know that they're going to refer someone else for all of their real
okay,
estate needs. But the thing is that I would even keep them on if you can box the referral source or the referral agent they have into a smaller area. So in this case,
okay,
you might say something like, let's say Rhonda is your multiplier. Then you talk to Rhonda, and Rhonda says, yeah, you know what? I've got somebody, longtime friend. His name's John, and John does real estate in this area, right? and you go, okay, well, that's great. You refer John to that area. Is that, is Carmel or whatever it is, and it's like, is that
Yeah.
the area that he knows the best, right? Okay. So here's the thing. What about the rest of Indianapolis? I have a team. We pretty much know the rest. Are you open to referring to me to everything else? I would be open to that if you're open to that. And she goes yes or no. And then you're like, all right, so let's say she says no. Then you go, you know what? I love that. I appreciate loyalty so much. I also work with investors. So would you be okay if you had an investor and that's a niche of mine that we do very well with. Would you mind if you had somebody in the investor world that if they had questions, you could send them to me to answer their questions? Would that make you comfortable or not? And then Rhonda says yes or no. And if it's all no's, then you're like, oh, you know what? I totally get it. I love the loyalty. I love where you're coming from. And I so appreciate that. No matter what. And here's the thing. I'd love to help you. If there's ever somebody that I can connect you to, don't hesitate to ask me. I'm here to help. And then you kind of have the rest of the conversation. And then you're gonna take that person out of your binder and just put it on the back burner, right? And
Okay.
the people that you want in your binder are raving fan ambassadors who, you're driving down the road and you've got some time on your hands and you look through there, you flip through, you grab it and you call it and say, hey, right? Plus you can schedule your communication plan around those 40 to 50. Plus they're the first 50 you're going to invite to your events, right?
Yeah.
So, and I will
So
tell you that if you'll invite 50, it's amazing how many people will invite 100 or 1,000 because they had a start. Once you talk to those
yeah.
first 50, it goes, so like you said, it's fun, and we've discovered that when people have fun they make more calls.
Yeah. Well, with the giveaway, some people, past clients, surprised me with referrals that had never referred me before or really been in communication. So I'm like, I feel like I should add them to that list to be in
I
more
would
communication with them
I
now.
would. You have momentum
Yeah.
too, right? So, take it, a great line or a great script right now is, hey, regardless of outcome, I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
Regardless of outcome, I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay.
That's a great
And
question, by the way.
and then the next question I wrote was, and maybe I'm misunderstanding the strategy a little bit, but why are we only adding pluses or multiplier people? I thought the criteria was always if they have referred or if they're willing to refer.
Yeah. So there's two different ways of grading. That's a great, and my encouragement to you is to we had to get started somewhere. It's
Yeah,
easier
of
for
course.
people to grade it by energy and
Okay.
also it doesn't require you to go look up any records or stats.
Right.
So when you grade it by energy, it's very fast. You can go 10 on a screen at a time. And like you had 7,700. How many did you have in your phone?
14,000 people.
14,000, and it took you how many hours?
Um, Maybe 5 hours.
5 hours.
Yeah.
Nobody else listening's probably got 14, 15,000 contacts, right? Or very few. If you have 1,000, it's going to take you half an hour. It just will,
Right.
right?
Right.
So it's very fast and it gets going. And the thing is if you have good energy with people, it tends to if you focus, it tends to result in attractive value exchange, right? So
Okay.
if nothing else, you get the value of the energy from the relationship. Now, the other way to grade is straight out of 7L, which is you grade by referrals. Multiple referrals is an ambassador, A plus, and single referral, or if they've ever referred you, is a champion, which is an A. And then, potential champions are Bs, and they're people that are good energy or like you think they would refer you or you want them to refer you. And then you have the C's, which are what I consider friends and family, which are, maybe they won't refer you or haven't referred you. And then you have the
Yeah.
D's, which you can drip on or you can delete, depending on what you want to do. So, the fact of the matter is most times the pluses flyers encompass the ambassadors and champions most times. But
Okay.
like you said, you now have 5 to 6 people to add to your VIP book, right?
Right. Yeah. And as I'm filling out the VIP forms, this is a start, right? My first 40, and then I'll put some blank forms in there for new people that I'm adding that referred me or whatever.
That's why we have the blank at the top where it says VIP form 4, and then it has
Yeah.
a blank, right? That it doesn't have their name on it. You can add their name and add it very quickly. By the way,
Yeah.
for those of you that are hearing about the VIP form for the first time, we have covered it a few times in the podcast. If you go to if you go to joingengen.com, join the Generosity Generation. It is a private Facebook group. You'll have to answer 2 or 3 questions. It's all good. We don't promote or market or advertise. When you get in, you can do a search in the files for VIP form, and the one that you're going to want to start with is the short form. I have a VIP form, short form, and a VIP long form. The long form is based off of Harvey McKay's Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive book and his 66 question questionnaire. For most uses, the long form is just too much. For most of what we're trying to accomplish, the short form will get us to where we need to go. So,
Okay. Cool. And then I guess the last question I have for you is, I already wrote down the first and 10 calls apologizing for communication.
or just have a conversation around it. Maybe apologizing might be too strong. I think it's just like let them just explain it. And if you explain why you've done something that they saw as a mistake, most reasonable people are understanding of the mistake, right? And if they're not reasonable, then you don't want to reason with them anymore, right? So
Yeah. So a few action items I have for next time is finishing up my first 40 in the book. I got a bunch of Starbucks gift cards for everybody that referred me last week for the giveaway. So I'm going to do handwritten notes and get the last of the prizes in the mail.
Yep.
And then
I have a PS for you for your power notes.
Okay.
Put PS, please give me a call when you get this just to verify that you got it.
Okay.
Or please send me a text when you get this just to verify that you got it, and then put your phone number in there.
Okay.
It continues the communication, the power of or the plus of the PS, right?
Yeah. So I'm asking, what should I work on this month or before our next coaching call?
Well, you're at RMS right now, so talk to me after that. I think the biggest thing is I want you to enjoy Referral Mastery Summit, and then it's kind of like being at a buffet in Las Vegas where they've got every food in the world. I want you to get a feel, and this is, I can't tell everybody this because what you do better than most is a helicopter. You have the ability to step back and look at things from a helicopter level instead of being nose deep and reactive. I want you to taste the food, talk to the chefs who will give you every recipe in their book, and then let's focus on 3 things that we are going to master. And that's my advice on that. Your follow-up from here to now is going to be referral follow-up, right? Check in with the referral source, check in with the referral, check back with the referral source. Are there any one-to-ones that you need to schedule based on the grand giveaway? That's my first question I always have to myself after the referral follow-up is what one-to-ones do I need to have? And if there's a one-to-one in the referral sources, in your PS, when they text you, you text them back and say, hey, we should probably get together. Okay. And I would keep those to 30 minutes. As we come out of, the post-COVID era, so to speak, hour meetings, hour and a half meetings, somewhat too long. So, you could do a 30-minute right after breakfast, 30-minute right after lunch, and they're willing to stop by a Starbucks and have a coffee with you and that kind of thing.
And those 30-minute meetings, that would be like with the referral sources, the people
Yes.
that referred me.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Really, it's out of the 40 to 50 calls you got, who do you really need to reconnect with? Because we became disconnected, and in many ways, people became disenchanted. So we
Mhm.
need, the phrase I've been using a lot is, it's a lot of people have become caged or feeling caged and enraged. They're in there, and everybody on Facebook is having a better life than they are, so they feel miserable. And then where's the interaction? It's on Facebook and Twitter. Well, Twitter's a bunch of arguing people, and Facebook is a bunch of perfect people. So it's like you're not going to get any solace in any one of those environments. So where are you going to find it? You're going to find it in person, you know. And so people are going from caged and enraged to uncaged and engaged. People are looking to engage. So I think it's who do you want to engage with? And I will tell you, first to engage is is the one that's going to win.
Mm. Okay.
You did it with the grand giveaway,
Awesome.
right? You've really re-engaged your database, and you ran the invitation sequence. You went,
Yeah.
so and you ran confirmation, and you did a great video. And for those of you that are listening, you may want to check out Event Mastery. You can go to eventmasteryclass.com, check it out. We do offer it in October. It will be a pretty full class because we have RMS coming up right now, literally. So I love it. Kevin,
Yeah,
other questions?
I'm really looking forward to Event Mastery because I feel like I got like a short snippet of it doing the grand giveaway. And also, I have my database pretty much lined up and building on it. And I feel like my next step is I really want to get more signs in my personal neighborhood where I live.
Mm-hmm.
So engaging with that community, and I'm thinking of "I Love You" a latte.
I love that a lot, too.
Yes, just as the seasonal as well as like introduction to the farm and invites, something nearby in the community.
Is there a
Um,
Starbucks nearby?
I actually just found a local place in Westfield, Indiana. It's like 5 minutes from our neighborhood. It's called Rivet Coffee Bar and Roastery. They have a really nice
Oh,
outdoor and indoor seating
is it
situations.
is it also a bistro? Is it not? I mean, is it also have alcoholic drinks?
Um, I haven't been there yet. I'm gonna have to
All
go
right,
by
let's
there
put
and
it on.
check it out.
Let's put it on the list. You're
Yeah,
gonna scout it out. Isn't this fun? I'm gonna
yeah.
force you to go to that coffee shop to check it out and see if they do alcohol. Because if they do, I want you to touch base with Torrell Chauffeur White and Johnny White at RMS, and they run like a happy hour I love you latte. So they can have coffee or they can have alcohol. And sometimes they have both
Okay.
with Bailey's, right? So
Yeah.
I think and they have literally hit it out of the park with these events. So let's put what's it called? Rivet?
It's called Rivet Coffee Bar and Roastery.
Yeah, coffee
So
bar.
yeah, I just heard about it today from one of my team members, and I'd never been there, so I
Yeah.
really want to check it out.
The other thing I like about it is, yeah, I love Starbucks and everything, but I love shopping local. Real estate is a local
Yeah,
business. So anytime we can
exactly.
partner with a local owner, I just feel, I mean, here's the thing. You're more likely, now the workers at Starbucks are local. So there is that. But working with a local business, you're working with a local owner and you're working with
Yeah,
the workers there that are, local. And, some might live in your neighborhood. You never know.
yeah,
So I
exactly.
like it. I love that idea. I love that idea. And the thing that I love is you've done an event, you've tasted the event, your database is in order. Now it's time for event mastery. Like event mastery, not event 101. And yes, do we have people that have never run an event have success in event mastery? Yes. But the ones who really have major home runs or the people like yourself who have a good base and you've done one and now you're ready to take it to the next level. So, yeah,
Well,
you're going to hit a home run in event mastery. It's going to be good. So,
sweet.
good stuff. That's it. And
All right.
uh, any words of wisdom for those that are listening in? Maybe this is their first referrals podcast. Maybe this is the first time they've heard about event mastery or what we do. What would you say to them, or what words of wisdom do you have for them?
So I have two things, and I'll keep it short. So there's a new agent in my office, right next to my office, and she has a great network of people. So she did the same thing. She went through her phone. She put together like her 400 favorite people, and she actually had more call-ins on the giveaway than me. And she just started in real estate.
Hmm.
So start with people that you know, like, and trust in your area, and put together that list, and then figure out what you're going to communicate with them about. Going through Michael's generosity events or whatever, or even whatever your office is doing to piggyback on that makes it really easy. And the second thing is, if you're not at RMS, you should be at RMS right now, but get in event mastery too, because I mean, it's my first time going through it, but I'm just really excited about the people that are going to be there, because people is what it's about. We learn from other people's experiences and challenges.
100%. Great advice. And this, you never know where a coaching session or a conversation is going to go on Referrals Podcast. So many nuggets from today that I did not know that we were going to branch off into and make it happen. Like the whole investing, multifamily investing, partnering with the multifamily investor, and you're the residential guy. So you can sell the homes that feeds that, so to speak. And that is a trend right now. A lot of people are getting out of residential and getting into multifamily or commercial investing. And the whole there's so many great nuggets around, the PS and the power note, the one-to-ones after an event, the broker level, and taking that to the next level. Instead of like just doing the minimum, you did the maximum plus, which is, inviting everyone and adding two of your own, prizes, which made more people want to participate. If there's one big prize, people are a little demotivated. They don't think they can win it if there's one and there's all these people involved. But if there's three, people are like, oh, I might be able to win one of those. There's three of them. And the more prizes there are, the more people that win, and the more people who feel like they can win. Big lesson right there. Yeah, Kevin, did you have something to add?
No, I think you nailed it.
Okay. So, hey, the first and foremost thing that I want to do from the listeners and viewers of Referrals Podcast is thank you. I asked for your permission before we jumped on here. You could have easily said no. You're a sharer and a carer, though, and you said yes. And I will tell you, the world is better off for it. The listeners and viewers are better off for it. And I just want to say thank you so much for being a guest here on Referrals Podcast. Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
It won't be the last time. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you got a ton out of today. For those of you that are walking and listening or biking and listening, I really appreciate that combination. Thank you so much for tuning in. I gave a couple of calls to action, eventmasteryclass.com, joingengen.com if you haven't yet. I encourage you to go there, and then referralspodcast.com. I'm just going to ask you, if you liked what you heard today, share it. Maybe subscribe. Let us know, right? And the last but not least thing is, do you want to be a guest on Referrals Podcast? If so, implement something from the show and then let us know about it at podcast@referco.com. Podcast, Podcast, at Referco, REFERCO.com. We'd love to hear your story. It doesn't have to be this huge, giant success. All it takes is implementation. If you failed miserably, we want to share the story. It's okay. There's lessons in the failure as well as the successes, and the only failure is not implementing. So, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate all of you. And oh my gosh, I already know what the next podcast is. I'm just going to tell you, you want to subscribe, because when that drops, you're going to want to hear it and you're going to want to see it. We'll see you next time on Referrals Podcast. Thanks, everybody.